everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Just recently I did a video on Gremlins 3. I told you everything you need to know about that film. Well, as much as I know so far. Now that's an upcoming movie. It's been penned by Chris Columbus, and it'll be interesting to see if this sequel materializes. And I started thinking about those earlier Gremlins installments. And in the first movie, we had Zach Galligan, and playing his friend was Corey Feldman when he was very young. And when you're a film buff and you've seen a lot of movies, you're always thinking about connection points. And talking about Gremlins again made me start to reflect on this old movie with Zach Galligan and Corey Feldman. And I said to myself, yeah, I remember when Zach Galligan and Corey Feldman did a movie together years later. And I don't think it's a movie that many of you will have heard of. It was called Round Trip to Heaven, and it was a direct-to-video movie, and it was just a raunchy comedy. It came out in 1992, and if you've seen it, please let me know in the comments. Now, it's not a great movie, but I remember hiring it on video, and I also remember seeing it once again on late night TV back in the 90s. Now, the premise for this film is a couple of young guys borrow a Rolls Royce to go on a road trip to Palm Springs to see a modelling competition. I think Corey Feldman or one of them is infatuated with this model, and they think to themselves, if they can get out there to Palm Springs and see this competition, maybe they've got a shot at romancing this model. So it's a very simple setup. It's one of those carefree comedies, and it's largely forgotten. So at the time when I saw it, I felt that Feldman and Galligan were an interesting double act. But what made this film even more intriguing is that Ray Sharkey, do you remember that guy? He sadly passed away in the 90s. But Ray Sharkey is a supporting character in this, and he's actually a ruthless mobster. And Sharky's out to get some stolen money that's hidden inside this Rolls Royce. So unbeknownst to Feldman and Galligan, they're driving a Rolls Royce full of stolen mob money. And this is one of the craziest roles you'll ever see Ray Sharkey tackle. If you remember him, he won a Golden Globe for a stellar performance in a movie back in 1980 called The Idol Maker. That movie really set him on a path for stardom, but unfortunately Sharkey had drug and alcohol problems, and he really just threw his career away. But at times he stepped into little roles in movies, and because he had that ability and that talent, even when the material was a bit beneath him, his talents shone through. And this was another one of those movies where you go, okay, Ray Sharkey's here, what's he going to do? And he winds up killing and maiming a lot of people in his quest to get this money. And this movie was made shortly after Corey Feldman's drug rehabilitation. So he was just trying to get back onto his feet with this movie and star with an old buddy from the past. And I suppose the filmmakers thought at the time, this is a reuniting of two Gremlin stars. They might want to scratch that one off their resume, but I remember it. I'm not sure whether anybody out there does. Now, I haven't seen this movie for many years. I think the last time I would have seen it was back in the late 90s on late night TV. But just talking about Gremlins the other day, it got me thinking about Round Trip to Heaven again, and in some ways that's a good thing. I don't think you can get this movie on DVD. It's certainly not available on Blu-ray, and maybe if you're interested you could check it out on streaming. But thinking about Gremlins 3 and what could be got me thinking about Zach Galligan, Corey Feldman and Round Trip to Heaven. So whether they will get together for Gremlins 3, these two, and reunite, who knows? But they did do a movie when they were a bit older, and it really is a fascinating, freewheeling, nonsensical comedy. So if you're up for something like that, Round Trip to Heaven is probably your ride. But I guess maybe Zach Galligan and Corey Feldman, if they get reunited for Gremlins 3, maybe they could come back and make a cheap little indie sequel to Round Trip to Heaven. Maybe nobody remembers that film, but I do. And it's a crazy, wacky, raunchy comedy. But who knows? They're making sequels to everything these days. Maybe they could make a sequel to Round Trip to Heaven while the guys are back together. I think I would be up for that just for nostalgia. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out, and I will be watching. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again very soon. In the meantime, take care and catch you later.